From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 7th, 2021. This evening marks the beginning of Holocaust Remembrance Day, Yom HaShoah. Israel's official state opening ceremony began with the sounding of a siren across the country and then the torch lighting ceremony at Yad Vashem, Israel's memorial to the Holocaust, at its Warsaw Ghetto Square on the Mount of Remembrance in Jerusalem, with 6 Holocaust survivors lighting 6 torches to remember the 6 million Jews murdered during the Holocaust. Israel's President Reuven Rivlin and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu each addressed the gathering, which was of a limited number of attendees this year and took place with COVID-19 guidelines like social distancing. Rivlin also shared his message for Yom HaShoah in English on social media.
We must stand united and demand with one voice, zero tolerance for any more of anti-Semitism and any form of anti-Semitism and racism and hatred, no matter what the source. 76 years after the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau, we must renew our commitment to work together to preserve the memory of the Holocaust, fight anti-Semitism, and ensure that our shared promise of never again become a shared reality.
Ceremonies commemorating Yom HaShoah are being held around the world tonight and tomorrow, including for the first time in the Persian Gulf. The Jewish communities of Bahrain and Dubai held virtual programs tonight to mark the somber occasion, and will hold a virtual program tomorrow hosted by the Association of Gulf Jewish Communities for Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates, with Muslims discussing their visits to Yad Vashem, later to be joined by members of the Jewish community in the Gulf to discuss how Muslims and Jews can work together to create a new Middle East. And the annual March of the Living that takes place every year in Poland, traditionally with a march from the Auschwitz to Birkenau death camps, will once again take place virtually this year because of the coronavirus pandemic. The International March of the Living organization said the virtual march this year is dedicated to the global medical community, reflecting on those in the community who had the courage to help save lives during the Holocaust, and also looking at the medical professionals facing the pandemic today, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, who will receive a special award in a program on medicine and morality, which you can watch tonight here on JBS at 7 p.m. Eastern. And a special exhibit of Holocaust survivors around the world will open in Jerusalem for Yom HaShoah. 59 6-foot-tall photographs of survivors adorn the walls of the city's Safra Square, home to City Hall, taken by photographers from around the world and including texts in Hebrew, Arabic, and English telling about each survivor. They are part of the traveling exhibit called the Lanka Project, named for Eleonora Lanka Nass, mother of New York Times photojournalist Rina Castelnuovo. Nass survived 5 concentration camps, but rarely spoke about the atrocities. She passed away in 2018. Castelnuovo and her husband, photojournalist Jim Hollander, wanted to find a way to help immortalize these survivors who are quickly disappearing, and last year asked their colleagues around the world to meet and photograph a Holocaust survivor. Hollander told the Times of Israel at the time, "We said, what can we do to help Holocaust survivors so that their stories don't disappear into the dust?" Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, April the 7th, continuing with our special programming for Yom HaShoah. At 7 o'clock, as I mentioned, a look at the nexus between medicine, ethics, and the Shoah, and how lessons from the past have been incorporated into the handling of the pandemic, with internationally known scholars, survivor testimonies, and stories of healthcare professionals whose lives have been shaped by the Holocaust. The program also features a musical performance from violinist Miri Ben-Ari and a special award presented to Dr. Anthony Fauci. At 8:30 tonight on Eric Goldman's Jewish Cinematheque, filmmakers Petra Epperlein and Michael Tucker talk about their film The Meaning of Hitler, which explores what Hitler means in the current waves of white supremacy, anti-Semitism, and the weaponization of history. At 9 tonight, Mark Golub sits down with Ernie Michel, who lived through Kristallnacht on L'chaim. At 10, Israeli police detective Yaron Svorai talks about how he became an undercover Nazi hunter and infiltrated neo-Nazi terrorist groups in Germany, leading to the arrest of the movement's leaders. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 7th, 2021. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy. Stay well.